Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
How you doing,
How
guys?
are you guys doing?
What's up?
We have another live show coming on for YarCrypto. After a successful first live stream yesterday, we are here once again for you guys. And yeah, we had another interesting day on the markets, some increased volatility.
Yeah,
And yeah, guys, I'm excited to be with you guys once again. We have Sterling here.
What's up,
We
guys?
have Legal Talent.
Mhm.
So we did want to talk about a little bit of charts and do some TA before we talked about regulations and NFTs and whatnot. So let's get who wants to put their chart up first?
Well, I can go.
All right, sounds good, Miss
Oh,
Curvy. We'll get your chart up
my
in here.
little chart here. So yeah, let's talk about Bitcoin first, right? So we have the daily chart over here for BTC, and another really interesting day. As I mentioned, we had some very big volume coming in on BTC, as you guys can see here. So for the past 2 days, we had some volume, and finally today, um, after so many red candles, we got a green candle after some very big volatility. And so as you guys can see, we had this resistance, this support line drawn from yesterday as well, and this is the 29K level. So we bounced from here pretty quickly. I guess there were a lot of orders down here, and we seem to have just absorbed all the sellers from this area right here, and we produced this really big wick on this candle. We just had a daily close 20 minutes ago, and we are seeing some increased volatility because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the state of BTC right now. We are between two ranges of resistance up here and support down here. So yeah, this is still very dangerous in my opinion.
yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Well, yeah, like if you look at my chart, I have a similar situation where I've been tracking for the most part zones over here. So now I've got my chart up for you guys. We did all right. First off, let's start off with this with this head and shoulder patterns that played out perfectly, if I might add. Currently, the target was hit and is part of that wick that we were just discussing. But this purple zone that I have on my screen is, pretty much where we see here, where we have this 31,000 is where we have this wick that brings down on these lows, and also this 30,000 mark. So this was going to be a really big area of support and resistance that we needed to avoid, so to speak. And we did, in essence, the 4 hour candle, we came down, but the body closed. So far, we have no candles closing below this area of support, which is a good sign. We do have the new daily candle, coming in. It's a little bit red, but like he said, it's a new candle, so there's going to be a lot of increased volatility, especially in the start and end of candles. But yeah, that's where we stand right now. We have this big zone. We're trying to make sure that we keep above and keep closing these larger candles above.
Yeah. It seems like we haven't been doing a good job though as of today.
Yeah.
Enough to impress us for the future, for the near future, I must say.
The other thing I wanted to add was, we have this neckline, which is a kind of a diagonal support and resistance line that we're currently trading below. So I would like
Yeah.
to see us at the minimum get above this local diagonal, resistance line.
Now, could you talk to us a little bit about what's going on with that cipher?
So yeah, we have the cipher here, and although it does look like on the wave trend, which is the blue waves here you see, which is part of the cipher, which is another indicator which is overlaid into it. The wave trend indicator does show that it's starting to crest over on the bottom here. Usually that would indicate that we're reaching a bottom of sorts, but you know, you don't want to front run these indicators. Front running means essentially you're going off of indications that is showing on the current candle, and since it hasn't printed yet, this is actually not solidified. So in essence, you know, we could keep going down, we could make a sharp turn up and create, you know, a crest a lot sooner. But the one thing that we have to keep into account is the money flow. At the moment, the money flow is still thick in the red, and it doesn't really look like it's letting up too much. If we go by my line here, you know, it's pretty consistent in the red here. And so we have these beautiful divergences that are very bullish playing out on this cipher, but they're not holding any weight because of the money flow holding it back.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, I have talking about that. I have a really interesting thing that I can point out in a few moments as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Because yeah, so we were talking about some news that are going on, and the money flow being in the red as it is. It can tell us a lot of different things, but as we talked about yesterday, Willy Woo, which is a famous on-chain analyst,
Yes,
he was talking about a big correction as well for BTC, and it has displayed in a quote that that he said, "My only concern for downside risk is if we get a major correction in equities, which will pull BTC price downwards, no matter what the on-chain fundamentals may suggest." As we saw yesterday from Mr. Willy Woo, he was bullish because of on-chain metrics, but he talks about here the case for not even the on-chain fundamentals being right. So, and that would suggest that the USD strength on the DXY, which we saw that it's been increasing for the past couple of days, and it suggests some investors are moving to safety in the USD. So yeah, what he's saying here is basically people are moving from assets such as BTC or Ethereum back to the USD, and we see the result of that in the USD as well, the DXY. And often we see that if the DXY is moving up, then BTC is moving down. So that can negate a lot of the on-chain metrics that are being bullish right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just wanted to point out that we have a gentleman who commented, Mo. He says, "Awesome group of guys. Love the live streams. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. Honestly, it means the world. And our community
Thank you, my friends.
is, our community is a robust one, and we are growing. So it just means the world to see this thing come together like it is."
We're trying our best, and I'm back now. By the way, for some
welcome back.
Oh,
for
hello.
some reason, I was having some problems right at the beginning. So
a wild Yarwood appears.
yeah. Well,
what about Ethereum as well? I was thinking, you know, maybe we should look at the Ethereum chart.
Yes, we did.
That's a good idea.
You know, I do have an Ethereum chart I was looking at recently. I could put it up real quick.
Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, let me put this chart up. Bear with me 1 second while I get the right chart.
Yep.
But yeah, with something that I was seeing with Ethereum is that it seems that we have fallen off of the 200 EMA recently.
Mm-hmm.
And the 200 daily EMA, and it seems as though we had tested it and used it as support back in May, which was around around the same time that Bitcoin fell through the 200 daily EMA. Ethereum came down to touch it and found support there. Then we go up and we get rejected. As you can see, guys, this is the 200 daily EMA, this teal ribbon at the bottom of my chart. And once we fell off this white ribbon, which is the 21 daily EMA, we fell through and found support on that 200 daily, went up, and then get rejected by the 21 daily. And we turned that into resistance. And then eventually we just kept on getting rejected by that 21 daily EMA, even though we kept on trying to push through it.
Yeah, and that can be considered a large, accumulation
Yes.
over that time period, especially since we're trading in between the EMAs.
Yeah. But it seems as though the MACD on the 1 day, if I turn on the MACD on the 1 day, it just seems like during around that same time, the price just couldn't hold any longer, and the buyers were getting weakened, and the MACD shows that because we went into the red around that same time in May, around that same exact time, that May 19th, right when we went under that 21 daily EMA. You could see on that MACD that the sellers were outweighing the buyers, and we were just going to keep on getting rejected by that until we see a stabilize MACD. And
Yeah.
now we finally fall through the 200 daily EMA. So it's not the sweetest thing in the world, but you have to look at it in context, because when we look at that Bitcoin chart,
And it's interesting to see in comparison with BTC as well, because if you look at BTC, we are already under the 200 daily EMA for a long time now.
yes,
Yeah.
we went under it during that same time that Ethereum fell through that 21 day EMA, which was in May 19th. And we fell through the 200 daily EMA for Bitcoin around that time. And we just keep on getting rejected by it. And we didn't really test it since May 21st. We haven't really tested it, but by the time we tested it on June 15th, we got rejected. And that's what sent us into this huge bearish down movement that we saw since June 15th. Just that rejection right there by that 21 daily EMA ribbon. It affected the psychology of a lot of traders, honestly. I think a lot of
people. And if
people
you pull up, I actually have a chart on Ethereum as well.
Yeah.
To show some insights of what I've been tracking, since this kind of dump here. And where we are right now is, yes, we're trading below the EMAs, but the RSI is really oversold, in my opinion, especially for the current trend that we've been doing with the RSI. Also, the wave trend, we're pretty low on the wave trend. We're at an 80. So there's good chance that we could be seeing a bottom soon for Ethereum. Maybe not the bottom, but definitely a bottom. And currently, we did have this broadening wedge pattern that played out. The price target was hit. And much like Bitcoin, we've got a major wick to the downside, which is fairly bullish if you ask me. But right now I'm trying to see, we're waiting to see what the next pattern unfolds, because currently we had this triangle which broke out to the downside. Then we went into this broadening wedge, which was also a bearish wedge because we got into it from a downtrend and we broke down to the downside. So now we're kind of waiting to see what the next pattern is. Currently, this was a huge accumulation pattern. And the one thing that I'm worried about is the potential for it to have been a bear flag, which would take us, to a much larger, bearish situation. I would say the price target would start up here and it would take us down to don't even look at that. But yeah, long story short is I doubt that we're going to get to those low prices. I doubt that this is a bear flag. Given just these general support and resistance areas that we've been dealing with for a long time now, and the fact that we are showing some strong support in that zone. So that's where we stand.
Wow.
Yep, exactly. And we got to consider as well, there are some bullish things coming for Ethereum. And well, yeah, in my opinion,
don't they have something launching on the 24th, a soft fork?
I think that's gonna be the early forks for EIP 1559, isn't that?
Yeah, is it for the ring fee?
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah, but I know they're doing some testnet stuff, and so yeah, there's a lot of bullish news coming out for Ethereum. A lot of things that are going to be implemented into the blockchain, which these soft forks are going to help bolster it and help bring it into the future and more modernized, because we have all these newer coins, newer DeFi, newer competitors that are trying to do the same thing but cheaper and faster. So they have to compete.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we were
it's got to
talking
improve.
about. Sorry.
No, I was saying he's got to improve. He's got to keep up with what everything else is happening around it. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And we were talking about it in Discord earlier today, about the possible way that Ethereum can overperform over BTC, especially with these kinds of news going on.
Yeah.
And we were talking like, what if Ethereum actually makes a huge move over BTC, especially with the mining situation for BTC? And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see in the next couple months how is this thing gonna play out for Ethereum as well. Ethereum is uh, one of the coins that I will keep the most of my attention on for the next few months, for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, no, it's Ethereum. I've held Ethereum. I don't often trade with it, but I do hold it, and it would be nice to see Ethereum get into some high numbers.
Yeah, but on some much lighter news, so we have this new coin, Stop Elon dot space, is their website. And apparently the whole thing is about stopping Elon Musk's manipulation on the cryptocurrency markets, with his Twitter and everything. Like let me just read a little excerpt here. It says Elon Musk is famous for irresponsibly manipulating the cryptocurrency market with his Twitter account. So, this is big because he does hold a lot of power in what he writes.
Have we got a website for that? Is there a
give me
website
one
out?
moment. Let me check it out for you guys right now.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds and I'll get it up on my screen for you.
Yeah, the
It's
whole
almost
problem.
like,
Go on, Sterling.
It's just like it's almost like it defeats the whole purpose of decentralization. When one person can just move the market like that.
Yes. So if you look, I have the website up on my screen, and it's it's a community driven movement to stop one of the biggest market manipulators, as they feel he is. And so yeah, it's pretty well put together, and they have a lot of, it's kind of like a grassroots movement if you think about it, but a coin and it's launching, so there's definitely something there.
And
But
how is
how
it
are-
intending to stop him? Sorry.
Exactly. Exactly.
This
Exactly.
is the part that I'm curious about too, because at the end of the day, you're talking about free speech in a sense, and taking that away.
Yep. Exactly. So are we gonna restrain him forever?
Yeah,
Is
get
that
rid
it?
of his Twitter, ban him on Twitter. Like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Because
So yeah,
I have a feeling that he'll probably buy up like 50% of this coin and then start tweeting about it.
No, but on a serious note, what they're actually doing, to get a little more serious about it, they're trying to do it from within. And what that means is that they're contacting employees, Tesla employees. They're trying their best to buy as much stock as they can through this crypto initiative so they can take over Tesla. So this is kind of like what they're trying to do is do it from the inside out to manage the situation. So it's not so much just a blanket ban on what he's saying on the internet, but they're trying to, get it from the beast from within. So that's what we're looking at. They're trying to buy up all the stocks.
This he has got like a huge amount of publicity out of this. I think potentially he's got a fantastic like PR manager that's told him to just buy a load of Bitcoin and then start tweeting about it, and he'll be constantly spoken about, because whenever we see him tweet or whenever we're about to do something, we're always nervous when he starts tweeting.
Yeah, because we don't know what effect he might have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that
Yeah.
one. So that's
Yeah.
something I've learned today.
I mean, on another, more lighter news, they have a Donald Trump coin.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And
Okay, let's-
essentially,
Wow.
what it is it's just another way for him to funnel money into his re-election campaign in the future.
have we got a website for that? Should we have a look at the old Donald
Yeah,
Trump
let
coin?
me see if I can find that for you really quickly.
Yeah, a lot of things going on, huh? But about this Elon stop thing that they are doing, I I'm struggling to see a world where it's actually gonna have an effect on the company itself. So I wonder where is all the money that they are gathering is gonna go, you know? And if that potentially doesn't work out, which I strongly believe it won't, how are they gonna, you know, uh, move
Spend the
on
money.
with that? Yeah, exactly. Where's the money is gonna go? You know. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. And I have
Okay.
that website up too if you wanted to take a quick look. We have the realtrumptoken.com. And it's a crypto designed to donate 1% of all the blockchain transactions back into organizations that put America first and President Donald Trump, which I'm thinking is going to lean heavily towards the "and" part in terms of where the money's going to go. But yeah,
I
We
love
have
the
a
wording. I love the wording of that.
yeah, we have a full-on website, and so this is where we stand in terms
Well-
of old Donnie in America still trying to get money and grift.
At
Well-
least we know he won't be tweeting about it.
I know, right?
We haven't got to worry.
he's taking advantage of what he can. You know. I'm not gonna discredit him for having this idea.
Yeah.
This can be a good idea, especially with how many Trump supporters there is.
Yeah.
And I mean,
But
look
yeah.
at the logo. It has a little toupee on it.
Yeah.
The R has a little Donnie hairstyle.
I want to talk about how crypto can affect politics in a meme sense, because one time me and Mr. Yar were having a conversation about an NFT. I think Groovy, you were in the conversation as well that day. We were talking about like the moment when Joe Biden fell up the stairs when he was walking into Air Force One, into his private jet or his presidential airplane. He fell up the stairs, right? Now, a journalist obviously made a video of that. Now, what if that video was minted into an NFT, right? If that video was minted into an NFT and then Donald Trump bought the NFT and then he was auctioning that NFT to fund his next presidential campaign, and it was a way to humiliate his opponent in the presidential election, as well as, being able to be a part of crypto in a meme sense.
Yeah,
Which is
I
something
think
that's trendy these days, obviously.
I think it'd be a dirty move in order to do, and I think the exclusivity of the video, it was filmed by a journalist. It's a public figure. I'm not sure you could retain the sole rights to the NFT because it'd fall under, the fair usage concept of intellectual property, where you could still show videos like that. I'm not a lawyer, but in certain cases, if stuff is significant or if is news, you can bypass ownership, etc. So I'm not exactly sure. I think it'd be more of a political stunt. And personally, I think very little of someone that would mint an NFT of a gentleman tripping over on a staircase.
Fair enough.
For a political point. So I'm not sure it would do much, but it would make a statement. But you never know.
Yeah.
We've seen behaviours before which we wouldn't have thought would be normal, but we don't know.
Well,
So-
talk about NFTs, right? Was that what you're going
Exactly.
to get into? Yeah, because I'm like, NFTs is still fairly new, and what it does, especially for the artist communities and the likes, it's very, very big. But what is the possibilities? That's what I'm thinking, because there's so much more that can happen with NFTs and instead of just art,
Yeah, so the whole memes that are going on about NFTs, it actually opens a window for us to talk about what the NFT space actually represents right now as a space on the crypto.
Mhm.
And I have a few interesting ideas that I have over here. If I can just open my 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 charts really quick. Let me see if I can find okay, right here. So this Cointelegraph article that we have, it's called Beyond the Hype. NFT's actual value is still to be determined. And it's written by Kosala Hema Chandra. And it talks about a few interesting points that I was reading up earlier. I actually highlighted some things over here. And it's talking about like, although the recent hype has been fun, I believe that this current iteration of NFTs is far from the game-changing, revolutionary potential that they can truly unlock for entire industries. So we basically are seeing memes
Yeah.
and things that are basically making fun of the whole crypto space itself going on. So yeah, NFTs right now, I think for it to be relevant to the world, it needs to mature
Yeah.
a lot more. And he continues to talk over here about the function of having a immutable record of ownership or agreement minted into a blockchain, uh, and how much potential it has for the interest for the industries. And he highlights some industries over here. So real estate, licensed and records, so the music industry, and tangible goods as well. But I think we are far from that still,
Yeah.
from reaching these kinds of markets.
Integration, yeah, into the
Exactly.
NFT market, yeah.
So
Because we're
yeah,
looking
this
at a lot more Oracle stuff at that point, and the just the general logistics of it, because we're talking about deeds and
yeah.
things like that.
Yep. And he talks about the whole situation as well. He says right now people are willing to buy a meme for $500,000, and although I think they are missing the real value that NFTs have to offer, I only hope people stick around to see what NFTs can really do.
Yeah.
So it begs the question: is the NFT market space gonna survive long enough to see its value to the fully extension on this of these kinds of markets? I think yes, it has a very good value and it's a very good idea. So I just hope as well, man.
Yeah, and just the integration of these different, markets into, let's say, DeFi and into the NFT space, that's just going to help bolster the crypto currency, community, and just the markets in general, and ingrain itself into society more. Because this is kind of like, I would say, early adoption stage. Even though cryptocurrency has been around for a while, now we're seeing more of the mass adoption. So that's what I think.
Exactly. Yeah. But coming back to BTC, actually, uh, I actually have a little more China FUD to bring upon you guys. So if you guys don't mind,
Yeah, no,
uh,
go for it.
yeah. So we were seeing some recent news, some more news about China and how they are stepping up even more their ban on mining. And
Yeah.
there's this article that was posted today on CoinDesk saying that the crackdown is actually different this time, and it's way more harsh than before. And I've highlighted some things over here as well. The first thing is that the big miner migration will not have a defining influence on the robustness of BTC. So this is a good thing. And in fact, it could even be a net long-term positive if it spreads mining and its risks to more countries. And there's no strong direct line from mining activity to the market price of BTC. And you guys were talking about it earlier, right? About
Yeah, and this is
mining is
definitely
spreading.
a bigger step towards, greater decentralization, especially, since you have cryptocurrency, you have decentralization, but there is the potential to have such a large bulk of, especially, miners in one area, that they can cause movements in the market
Yeah.
and manipulation. So that's something to
Yeah.
keep into account. This will help with the decentralization of crypto.
Yeah.
I just really struggle to see China's, like, if there was one, I think I touched on this yesterday. If there was one country that sort of could control it at a government level, it would be China.
Exactly.
And that's not anything. I haven't got anything against them personally. I've been to China, went for a holiday, lovely place. But I'm just speaking here in the way that they run things at a state level. Okay, you would think that they would jump on this. Most of this equipment is actually manufactured in China.
Really quickly, not to cut you off, but I had an alert set on my trading view. BTC does look like it's making a movement to the upside. We're getting some volume coming in.
Okay, let's get your chart up.
Yeah, it looks like this hourly candle is seeing some volume come in. More than double than the previous candles for the last few hours that we've been having. So it looks like we are making a move. Hopefully, this is going to be a push, out of the zone and to retest the next the next EMA, which would be a bullish move. So currently, right now, if I turn on my Traders Reality indicator, the purple zone here with the blue line.
Do you have your chart available for us?
Oh, excuse me. This is the thing. I thought I was sharing it. My apologies, everybody.
That would help.
Yeah, my apologies. I'm over here talking about a non-existent chart.
We've had a very long day today. So just in case anyone's listening, we've been working really, really hard on a few of our other projects. So if we're a little bit slow, you'll have to forgive us today.
We'll get there for you guys. No worries. So as you can see here, we're making a movement, guys. So just a quick, alert for BTC right now. I had my alarm set, and I'm just hearing the chirping in the background, like who has birds going off? And I remembered that was my alarm. So right now, what we want to see a push from out of the zone. Right now, this is the zone where near the 50 EMA, and we're showing resistance. Now we're pushing through, but what we want to see is a clear move to test the 200, which is the white line up here. And then, the more bullish situation would be test the 200, come back down and flip the 50 as support. Because currently we are resisting on the 50 EMA. And it's something also to keep
EMA to which time frame?
Well, currently I'm using the EMAs with any time frame. So no matter what time frame I look at, they are going to adjust. So in this case, the 50 EMA would be the 200, I believe. No, I apologize. The 50 is the 800 EMA on the. Excuse me, I'm a little fuddled here because it's a little bit tricky with the conversion of the EMA since it's updated per candle. So what we'll do is just focus on the 1 hour for now since I don't have it locked in. But yeah, currently this is where we stand and we are getting the volume. If we can continue to get this volume pushing in and we can clear this zone, that would be a real bullish move. Right now, I do see a potential pattern playing out of an inverse head and shoulders. If we look at it from this regard, there is that potential right now, which would be good.
Yeah. People were asking on the Discord server earlier today about the potential of a retest of the previous support that we broke. And I was showing up, if I can just get my chart open here as well. So I like to look on the daily time frame a lot. And I was looking earlier on the daily time frame that we had this support, this local range of support that we had touches both here as well, and here and over here as well. So this is very relevant for us. this area,
Of course.
and we broke down from it right here. And I was thinking maybe we would retest this range of support as resistance. So we are doing it right now. So we broke down from here straight through, and now we are coming back into this area to test it again.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think the question for us is, can we hold this level? Can we break this level again and turn it as support, or are we gonna come back into this and test it as resistance and break down again?
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity for the RSI to actually have a relief rally, because we were pretty oversold on the daily time frame. So yeah, this may be a possibility for us in the next few hours or days.
Yeah.
And obviously we have the 200 EMA, as Ligo mentioned as well. So that's going to be another interesting thing to look out. But yeah, this is looking a little bit nice right now. Little upside movement.
Yeah.
That would definitely be the ideal situation. But the other thing
Yep.
we have to worry about, being that our money flow and everything is still in the red. It is ticking over if we look at the wave trend, but how much of this could be a fake out, and that's something we have to keep into account, because with the volatility of the futures market, that's something that can happen very easily.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think we got an hour close coming up in about 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah. Another interesting thing that I was looking at today is the open interest rate for BTC. And something that I was looking is another on-chain metric. Let me see if I can just find it right here. So it's another article from CoinDesk that we have. And this article is showing that the Bitcoin futures open interest dropped more than half in 2 months. And what does this mean for us and for the price? So essentially, institutional investors are being cautious at the moment. And it also notes that the 3-month futures in BTC are in backwardation, meaning that they are traded at a discount to current spot prices. And that is generally perceived to be a bearish signal. So yeah, the open interest rate dropping this much in 2 months, it's indeed a very bearish signal. And it's another thing to look at when we talk about the reasons for the price to be moving down so quickly as well.
And it does look like, what the institutions are waiting for is for the price to sort of stabilize a little more, and there to be, that more stability so they can invest, because they are cautious, they're not investing. As we can see from this chart, there's been a clear down trend in terms of purchasing. Yeah.
So what do you guys think would be the solution for this amazing downtrend that we are seeing? Personally, I think that we need to wait for the miners to actually settle down in another place, because they're being kicked out from China right now.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the other thing, with them being kicked out, especially leading up to that, just the news of it, and especially, well, not especially, but in China, there's a lot of FUD. There's a lot of, we're banning Bitcoin. How many times did they ban Bitcoin, but it didn't get banned? Now it's something real serious. And so these miners have no choice but to kind of sell their Bitcoin and do things to kind of move. And that's what we're seeing. I think a lot of this downward movement is from a lot of these larger facilities and larger mining companies that are selling off their stocks of Bitcoin because they're anticipating that they have to get out of the country.
Exactly.
There's got to be other countries that are going to take them in.
Oh yeah,
Are.
America has their arms open in Texas right now.
Yeah, there has to be, and you know, you've got countries like El Salvador, which I keep referring back to. Mentioned them yesterday. You know, they are offering permanent residency
What?
for I think 3 BTC.
That's crazy.
Now, you know, they're obviously really into Bitcoin right now, or all sorts of crypto. So, you know, countries like that, I'm sure if you agree to go over there and you know, build a warehouse, build mining, employ people, they'll take you. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
also India, obviously it's in a bit of a chaos at the moment with Corona, but you know, technical infrastructure's there,
Mm-hmm.
cost effective. So it could be a place to go to as well.
I've also heard about like Ukraine is
Yeah.
using Bitcoin miners to basically ease the fluctuation or smooth out the fluctuation in energy surge from the nuclear reactors that are, because like when you have a nuclear reactor plant that is providing nuclear energy to the grid or to your energy structure infrastructure, there's going to be like very sharp fluctuations in the amount of power that you're receiving or not receiving. And
At
when
any given
could
point,
just,
yeah.
when you could just turn on a Bitcoin miner with one switch and smooth out exactly the amount of energy you want to receive from that nuclear reactor, it's actually something that is actually good for the environment, because you know nuclear energy is not, if it's used properly and if it's done properly, it can be very beneficial for a country.
Yeah,
Right?
along those lines. So, what I was reading about it was essentially, you know, you have these nuclear power plants, and what they're doing is they're in tune with the power plants, with the electric companies, and what they're able to do is when they have these spikes or these high, you know, traffic times when there's a lot of people using power, then these miners can easily shut off the machines on and off. We're talking about, you know, going with the electric grid, kind of working with them to kind of smooth it out and provide constant energy throughout the entire grid, which very beneficial, because before that they were having issues where, you know, you have these power surges, you can have things, you know, that happen with lights blowing out because of these surges. So it's overall increases the health of the system.
There's a lot of wastage with power as well. A lot of these power plants. But you know, again, I don't understand why they haven't decided to buy Bitcoin miners themselves, put them in the basement. You know, just turn them on when you need them.
Guys,
get profit from it.
We just got a comment from Nicholas Haladki. Great info, guys. Keeps me learning and exploring new opportunities. Oh wow, that means a lot, brother.
Great.
Thank you, Nicholas,
for watching.
Thank you so much, man.
For watching, man. Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. Wherever you are, shout out to you, Nick.
So,
but yeah, that's basically a waiting game now. I think these miners have to settle down elsewhere and you know, set up another facilities, another ways of mining crypto with different kinds of energy. And yeah, so you guys talked about a lot of different places that could be the place for mining. We also have Kazakhstan with some mining facilities being set up over there. And
Mongolia was a place, wasn't it? But then even F2 Pool was getting issues with Mongolia.
Yeah, so they are bringing a lot of machines to another countries. We also have Texas, as you guys know, and as you guys talked about in the USA. So they have invested $25 million in a new mining center in Texas. So yeah, I think once it begins and it retakes the normal size and the normal procedures for mining, I think we can get back on track and possibly recovering a little bit for the market
build that
as
confidence.
well. Yeah.
not only for the retail investors, but also for the institutional investors, because obviously we're showing that they're cautious and they're scared to invest. I know Michael Saylor, I think it was, he caught a lot of ire for their purchase at 30, what was it, 37,000 they bought some Bitcoin at.
Oh,
So
wow.
Yeah.
ultimately, you know, their dollar cost average was down at 26. So in my mind and in my eyes, that's the kind of support level I'm looking for. So once we start going below 26, I start to worry that they're good. MicroStrategy is going to start selling their Bitcoins, you know?
I think it was. Sorry, go for it, Groovy.
No, I was just gonna comment. They went. Michael Saylor went a little underwater recently, but I think he's not selling anytime soon, man.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I was about to
And the
say, it
investment is
depends on
green.
your strategy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
I think he's in it for the long term.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I believe that it was Max Kaiser who was interviewing Michael Saylor at the Bitcoin conference 2021, and they got the crowd to chant some crazy chant about Elon Musk. They were basically saying F Elon, we're not selling. They got the whole crowd to chant that at the Bitcoin conference.
So it looks
Yeah,
like
I think-
he's getting a lot of ire as well, Mr. Musk.
Well,
I think even Elon and Tesla, they're gonna get back on it really soon as well.
yeah, they're gonna get back into it once all these miners move from China back to the North America, and then they can be regulated to work under environmental friendly standards. Then we're gonna see people like Elon say, "Oh, now is the time. Now is the time to."
But wouldn't that be a way to legally manipulate the market? So you have a huge company, you announce our company will start accepting this asset to purchase our products, and then you decide later, okay, we're not going to be accepting this asset. But in that case, you know, that could be easily employed to drop the price and kind of purchase at a lower, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, I think he changed. I think he changed his because originally it was to do with the amount of power that he was saying that Bitcoin uses, which was quickly established that when you take fiat currencies into account, that there's quite you know, a difference in some cases. But then it was more the ethical side of energy, wasn't it? And where it was
But
being
here's
got
the thing.
from. So.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
not quite
While
sure
that
on his
was-
argument.
While that, what led up to Tesla announcing that they're no longer going to accept Bitcoin payments? What led up to that? If we look at the daily chart, we could find on mostly any momentum oscillator. If you look at a daily chart, I'll pull up my chart right now. Hold on one second. You will see a huge divergence on these daily charts, and that could mean that you know, these people were just like smart enough to make their news at the right time to trigger these events that were inevitable in the first place. Does that make sense?
Exactly. If I can just keep my chart really quick.
Yeah.
I talked about it. Yeah, I talked about it on Twitter as well. So at the same time that we had all the retail FOMO going on, so around this time over here, right? We saw at the same time that this was happening, and BTC was trending on Twitter, and Tesla was announcing stuff here and there. Look at the RSI through all of this movement right here. So we had bearish divergence here on the RSI, huge bearish divergence, and then another bearish divergence over here, and another one over here. If you look, so here on the indicator, it didn't show, but we had three really big divergences, and this was coming like a mile away, and we saw that investors were kind of pulling down a bit, but the retail was coming into the market really fast. And let me see if I can just find my tweet over here for that movement.
Yeah, and if you pull up my chart really quickly, Sterling, while he looks for that tweet,
exactly.
I have something to add to that. You know, so if we're looking at all these divergences, let me just make sure we have my chart up. There we go. So we have all these divergences on the cipher B that we're playing out here. Like he said, all these bearish divergences, almost every, top that we reached was a divergence after another divergence. But what did the price do? Ultimately, we kept trending up. And one of the things that we have to keep into account is the money flow, which is something that I was bringing up now in terms of getting all these bullish divergences, but the money flow is against us. In that case, it works the opposite, where we have these bearish divergences, but the money flow is slowly ticking up and it was actually growing. But where we wanted to start, to kind of keep an eye out was when we started getting to the top here and we started to notice the money flow actually start to trend down. So if we were to get a trend line, we'll actually see that there's a clear downtrend as opposed to at the beginning of this whole movement where there was a clear uptrend in the money flow. And so what we're looking right now for, and before I can get bullish, is I want to see, a fairly clear uptrend in the money flow. Currently, right now, it does look like there is some movement in that direction, but we have these troughs and peaks that happen all the time. So, like, again, you don't want to front run these indicators and go off of what you see happening on the current candle, because this can easily flip back down and continue this bearish momentum.
Yeah.
So what? And
then
your tweet, yeah.
I actually posted it on Discord, not on Twitter, but this is a little piece of on-chain analysis that I looked at a couple days ago. And this is sort of a macro view of the market. But we see here, this chart is basically for BTC, it's the number of addresses with balance equal or greater than 1K BTC. So basically institutions. And as I wrote here, this this move right here is the same move that I talked about right now. Basically the retail coming into BTC. So this point of the chart is basically this point right here on the chart on trading view.
Yeah.
So as we see the retail coming in, we see a major quantity of smart money leaving the market. So basically institutions leaving the market. And then we saw all this happening, and there was the bearish divergences going on in these three peaks over here. And then we saw this huge downtrend for smart money into the market. And right now we are seeing accumulation from the smart money from institutions as the retail has fear on the market. So it's a nice little duality that we see from retail and institutions. So when retail is at their most hyped state, institutions are going out, and when retail is at the most fear, institutions are going in. So it's very interesting to look at something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can we talk about what on-chain analysis is? Because I mean, a lot of people will join here and they really have never heard of on-chain analysis. I mean, it's really one of the most helpful tools in terms of analysis.
Yeah.
Like,
so basically, sorry, you were finishing there?
The last thing I just wanted to add was, like, we have like ARK Invest, the investment firm ARK Invest. They have an on-chain analysis expert. His name is Yassine, and he did a whole Bitcoin white paper called Bitcoin, a Novel Economic Institution. And he is their specialist in on-chain analysis for ARK Invest. And, Kathy Woods still says that she has a price target for a 500K Bitcoin.
She holding that still? She hasn't let go of that one?
Apparently, from the last interview that I saw from her this past week, she was still holding her prediction, and it's due to her analysis from on-chain analysis experts like Yassine. So that's why I wanted to say, like, somebody like Mr. Groovy bringing up this term on-chain analysis. Can we talk about what that is?
Yeah, okay. So basically, the crypto market as a whole is one of the few assets that you can actually see on chain analysis. And it's basically the information of who is holding these assets and where where's the assets going. So you can see all of the transfers between addresses. You can see who is holding and who is selling, and this is basically, you can't see it anywhere else besides crypto, and it's very valuable information. So things like this, you can see how many addresses have a certain balance, and you can see the exchanges as well, how many coins are leaving the exchanges, how many coins are entering the exchanges. So it's basically the information of the basis of the buyers and sellers, and it's very valuable, man. It's very interesting to see.
Yeah, that is definitely valuable stuff.
So can I just take up on that? So for instance, if someone was looking at that, we notice a load of BTC hitting an exchange, what would we say is going to happen to it?
So basically, when we see, because like usually we see cold wallets for crypto, so you basically take the money off your exchange and bring it to a cold wallet so you can hold it. But when we see a big move from cold wallets to exchanges, what we can take off, what we can assume of that is that these assets are coming onto the exchanges for it to be sold, basically. Because if people are removing it from a storage and bringing it into a exchange platform, the most reasonable assumption that we can make is that they're gonna sell it, or at least they're gonna try and trade it for something else. So,
but we don't necessarily mind if it's BTC. Sorry, if it's USDT. If it's USDT coming into the exchange.
Yeah, exactly. It's crypto, right?
Yeah, if it's USDT coming into the exchange, unless you're shorting, and someone's about to do a huge buy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Then you can be worried. But if it's USDT, then obviously I'm assuming that someone's coming in to buy.
Yeah, but along with this, these points that he was making, it was very clear, and up until this recent dump that we had, for at least 4 days, I believe it was, there was a major increase in the inflow of BTC into the exchanges. And this is not something that they do in one shot. Obviously, it'll be very noticeable if someone was to just deposit that many BTCs. So they do it over a week, over a few days, and they're just in the on-chain analysis will indicate, and it will go up by a certain percent, and it will be very clear that there's an influx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You try and get early notice, early warning.
Yeah, so a lot of people who saw this on the on-chain analysis side of things, they were able to kind of front run much of the movements. Obviously, when we are in the moment, it's harder, and especially with so many people saying for you to ignore everything that's going on because BTC is going to 200, 300K immediately, it gets kind of harder, to actually interpret this kinds of analysis and information. But as you see, this is very valuable stuff, and it even shows on the chart here on the RSI, because you see that money is leaving the market as price is increasing. So somewhere in this, the market's gonna go down. So yeah.
Yeah. So can you point out exactly the highs and the local levels that you're talking about that created these divergences?
Yeah, sure. So the first one that we had, you could say, was down here. So essentially, divergences on the RSI are very valuable. So I can put some lines here. So if we have a higher price but a RSI that's coming to the downside, this is basically a bearish divergence, and it means that the money is leaving the market as the price is going up, and the price is not gonna be able to hold this movement for a long time. So the first one that we had was right here. So I can put this line in this area. So we see that the price, it moves to the upside in this area right here, but the RSI stayed in the same line. This is the beginning of a bearish divergence. But talking about the bigger ones, the first one was this movement from kind of the low 30s here to the almost 60K. Uh, and if we look at the RSI at this point right here, we were very high on the RSI. And then we came down, tested the 30K level again, and we came all the way up to the 60K, 57K level right here. But if you look at the RSI at this point, the RSI is all the way down here, even in this level right here. It's all the way down. And you're beginning to see that the money is leaving, especially the smart money. And this was already being placed as well on the on-chain analysis. So in this chart right here. And we continue to go up, and we go up one more time right here, and once again you see that the RSI is lower, so that's another sign. And I think the biggest one comes after. We get another sign on the 61K level, once again another bearish divergence, so lower high on the RSI, and the price is moving further up. And the last one finally is at the 63K level, so the top that we had on April. And we had this high over here and another low on the RSI. So we had a lot of chances to actually see this coming. But you guys know what was going on in this space right here, especially on Twitter and YouTube. So yeah, that's basically the our RSI movement in this area right here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
That
and,
was
and just overall, you can see it. The price, we're,
Yeah.
we're forming higher highs, but each subsequent higher high is a little lower, than the previous percentage move that we did before it. And, it's just trending downwards on the RSI, and it continues to trend downward. If you look at the complete motion from all of those peaks, we're still going lower, lower, lower. So I'm hoping that given the exhaustion on the RSI for the sellers, we potentially found our bottom and maybe our lowest high over here at the current
Yeah.
high that we just did recently.
Yeah, I hope the lines were able to give you guys a clear picture of the.
Yeah, no, it's very clear.
Yeah.
Very, very,
So,
very
yeah.
nice.
We had a lot of signals.
Yeah.
Can we talk about what happened with that little slight breakout we had from that EMA ribbon legal? We were looking at that on your chart earlier.
Yeah, let's go back to BTC. But also, just to point out, because this is something that Mr. Sterling pointed out just a few weeks ago, and it was very clear, and a lot of people, had their chances to to kind of react. But it was when we had a cross here, on the actual excuse me, let's get the daily out. Was the MACD, right? That we had a cross on the MACD, Sterling?
Yes.
Yeah, so if we look here on the actual weekly chart, so there was plenty of signs, guys, and the whole thing is, you know, you're not always going to have one indicator that's going to give it to you. You know, the RSI is not going to give you everything, but in this case, we have, you know, the stochastic, which is an indicator of an indicator. And so to speak, it's like, you know, it is like the RSI, except it has one other line, which kind of helps detect, you know, trend changes. And in this case, on the weekly, we're talking about April 19th, the week of April 19th, you know, we had this cross on the MACD, which was a very bearish signal. And a lot of people had a chance. We're talking about 2 weeks almost to get out before this dump. So there's always going to be something there, you know, and bolstering your technical analysis and just usage of the different indicators is going to help overall. You know, you don't want to get stuck to one indicator because there's a lot of different metrics at play in terms of the money flow and the strength.
I think a lot of people who are not strong on TA are a little bit nervous with their indicators, but a lot of them are actually quite simple to read and don't take a lot of effort. But I think there's a sort of danger zone in some cases where people just look for a green dot and then they go to the nearest YouTuber that's saying it's going up, but not necessarily understanding that YouTuber is potentially talking about more long-term goals, or, you know, the whole sort of bull cycle in a concept, and then someone enters into a long, not realizing that they've got a liquidation and it's going to come back down a little bit before it goes back up again in levels. So getting familiar with a few of these indicators, just to give yourself a wider concept of what's happening, I think is a very, very positive thing to be doing, a very important thing as well.
Yeah,
and
so
what
we're always going to be there to answer questions for you guys.
Yeah.
You know,
What I always talk about, and I tweet it a lot as well, is that you need to filter the noise and what you see on the internet about news and predictions. So yeah, filtering the noise and actually trying to choose what to listen to is very important on crypto, especially when we are having this much attention to crypto worldwide and on Twitter and social media and stuff. People can get pretty diverged from the actual technical analysis of it. So yeah, Sterling, you wanna show a chart?
Yeah, let me show something that I did mention maybe a couple of weeks ago in my market update to keep an eye on. Well, see, guys, when we were talking about how simple indicators can be, you know, it's not more. It can't get any more clear than this 1 week MACD when you look at Bitcoin, right? So, as you can see, guys, we made this high right here on the week of April 12th. We made a high of, sorry, let me just get this off my screen. We made a high on the week of April 12th. We made our all-time high, 64,500 roughly, right? That same week, we saw the MACD ribbons cross and the MACD go into the red, and that literally called the top. And the MACD is one of the most commonly used indicators in the world amongst traders all over the world.
Just one thing, too, to make note of. We're looking at the weekly candles right now.
Yes.
It's very strong. These indicators are going to get stronger and stronger the higher the time frame you go to. And so just be careful when you're looking at the MACD and, like, let's say the 15-minute, because, yeah, you can use it for scalping and it's a great tool, but it can give you some false signals.
Yes, 100%.
So just to keep that in mind, if you're looking for a longer trade and you're looking at the smaller time frames and you see all these kind of indications, just keep in mind that should be the window that you're trading on, not holding something for a long time if you see something on a 15-minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah, I think the lesson here is that the chart is your best friend always, and I tweeted this as well on Twitter. So the best thing you can do when you are trading, or if you are holding, or if you're doing anything on the crypto market and you want to be successful at it, is actually learn the charts, learn the technicals, and see how you can work with it. And always be careful what you read on the internet, especially if there's no technicals behind it,
Yeah.
because always the chart is always going to tell you what it's going to do. It may be confusing at times, but as you guys can see, we are able to predict moves by just looking at technical analysis and looking at the charts. So yeah, the chart is always your best friend. And if there's something that I learned from trading, is that uh, you can just trade the chart and nothing else, and you can be successful just doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Groovy. And for people that don't necessarily understand technical analysis, it can be very, very overwhelming. But once you sort of dive in a little bit, step at a time, start learning a few indicators, start asking questions, etc., it comes. And if you're going to be in crypto and you're going to trade crypto, and you're investing your money in crypto, you might as well invest just a little bit of time back on the charts, running through some concepts of indicators, because it's probably going to pay off in the long run.
And you don't have to
For
be an
sure.
expert. And yeah, of course, it is overwhelming. There's so many indicators, so many different metrics to look at. But once you get the basics, and we're talking about reading candles, support and resistance, and basics of how to understand and read oscillators, because there's many different types, then you'll be cooking with gas at that point, because just like what Groovy said, just the chart alone, just the candles has enough information there to make perfect trades, on the larger time frames.
Yeah, another thing that when you say being able to read candlesticks, like you can read candlesticks and know, okay, the price went up here and went down here. But when we talk about reading candlesticks, we're talking about understanding the anatomy of a candlestick, understanding what means the opening price of a candle, and what means the closing price, and what means the wick. What does the wick mean? What does the shadow mean? The tail of the candlestick. The tail or the wick or the shadow of a candlestick means the highest or lowest the price reached during that time, and then the candle body will represent the opening and closing of the candlestick. So it's important to know that, because you can read a candlestick chart and say, okay, I know the price went up here and went down here, except you're reading candlesticks to understand where the price was rejected the most in a certain time frame, in a certain piece of time or a certain portion of time. So if we're looking at a 4-hour chart and we see a bunch of 4-hour candles with huge wicks to the upside around the same level and the price was going sideways, we know we saw a lot of rejection from the upside there. And it wasn't just because we went down afterwards. It's because those wicks representing during that short period of time, the price just kept on trying to get up there and getting rejected immediately.
And the one thing to keep into account is that it's a tug of war, with the buyers and sellers. And so the winner of the candle, the determination is going to be the person who did the most. So if we have sellers selling more than buyers could keep up with, you're going to end up with these wicks to the downside.
Yes. So that's why I just wanted to mention, guys, we talk about reading candlestick charts, but understand the anatomy of a candlestick before you start looking at candlestick charts or just charts in general, because that's the fundamental thing about looking at charts is candlestick price action.
I think Legal's been working on a PDF brochure, not brochure, PDF book, like a guidebook on candles, haven't you?
Yeah,
Legal?
we're working on a nice cheat sheet that has, candlesticks and the different patterns to look out for, to be great to make some perfect trades off of.
Yeah, once that's up and done, we'll stick that up on the website, available to download, and include the links in here so people can get hold of that.
Yeah,
because I think I had a brief look at it the other day, and it's looking quite good. Legal's spent a lot of time putting together some little tricks and tips. So as soon as that's ready, we'll stick that out. But
Well, we're gonna try and help you guys the most and from all the ways that we can. And as I said, always do your research, guys. We're gonna help you with that, how we can. And yeah, be safe out there, man.
Yes, guys, minimize your risk. Look at the charts. Keep watching the charts. Come and join us in our community on Discord, and just tune into our channel just to hear what the rest of the normal traders just like you are thinking when they're looking at the charts. Guys, some of us have been trading for just a few years. Some of us have been trading for over 5 years or 6 years. And we come from all walks of life, normal group of guys, and we just found each other and we started trading, and then we kept on coming up with ideas, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're sitting right in front of you with this YarCrypto late night talk show.
Yeah, we might not be jumping around, screaming up and down, and doing backflips, but we'll tell you answers to your questions if we can do. We take a more calm approach to things. I believe Mohammed is saying hi to us again.
Mohammed.
Hi. You might have to go back in time very soon and watch the stream once it's uploaded, because I think we're coming to the end of what we're doing today. We're asked if Mohammed had any questions that he wanted to.
Yeah, Mohammed, do you have any questions for us? Yeah. If you have any questions, let us know.
We'll keep you guys updated. We will be doing our streams. We've got a bit of a weird market at the moment, but once it starts moving in whichever direction it's going to go, we'll be able to be a little bit more useful to you guys and get some TA being done as well here. So perfect. Any last words from anyone to today? I didn't get time to do our entry, so I'll do our exit. How does that sound?
Yeah, sure.
We just appreciate everyone for showing up.
I just wanted to say we're gonna keep you guys updated on any movements as always. Thank you guys for having this successful late night show once again. This has been a great talk. I loved it. We had a bunch of really nice information, a really great talking points, and yeah, I'm stunned, man.
Yeah,
really,
any
really
questions, remember, just put them down in the comment section of this video, and we'll pick it up for next video. Keep an eye on Twitter. I know Groovy and Sterling are becoming quite ferocious with their tweets, getting them out at lightning speed when stuff's happening. So keep an eye there. Links in the description for our Discords if you want to pop in and say hello. And pretty much, I think that's it. We'll catch up with you next time, I guess, eh?
Thanks everybody for joining us.
All right, friends.
No worries. See you soon, guys.
See you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.